it's been a little while since we spoke about Cradle of Filth. Yeah, the Cradle of Filth situation hasn't gotten any better since we last checked in. So basically, where we're at now is. Excuse me, I got a cold. So Cradle of Filth, you may recall a couple of months back, Zoe and Ashok from Cradle of Filth, the keyboardist, vocalist, or backing vocalist, and guitarist, wedded couple who are part of Cradle of Filth, part of the touring act, quit mid-tour. And while Ashok wasn't as vocal about the ongoing clusterfuckery of being part of Cradle of Filth, Zoe was. So, following their exit, there was lots of allegations that went back and forth. I did 2 videos on it, so you can go check those out if you want. I might put them here. So, yeah. So, there's now a lawsuit going on. So just to rewind things a bit. So, Cradle of Filth have had something in the neighbourhood of like 19 previous band members, which, although the band has been going for some 20 plus years, it's still quite a lot when you take into account bands like Iron Maiden, Slayer, bands like that have been around for even quite a long time. And even when you take into account bands like even more sort of relevant contemporaries, like Dimmu Borgir, maybe even Emperor, those are bands that have been around just as long, if not longer, who have had plenty of touring bands, but hasn't quite reached the extent of Cradle of Filth's previous band members. Now, look, people come and go touring, session musos, if you will. They come and go, but the extenuating circumstances around the accusations of Ashok and of course, what's her name, Zoe, has really brought to light some of the really bad treatment at the hands of Cradle of Filth Management that has gone on for quite some time, to the point that even previous other members spoke out. As a result, I'm assuming there may have been sort of like almost like agreements which prevented people from saying anything, so that had now since lapsed. But now there is a lawsuit that has been filed against Cradle of Filth, against Dani Filth, against Cradle of Filth Management, and against the companies that, or businesses that have been set up to run the goings-on of Cradle of Filth. So I'm assuming Cradle of Filth is probably set up as a registered business in the UK, because that's where Dani Filth originates. It may also be business holdings in America, and maybe even Europe, because those are areas that Cradle of Filth tend to frequent, and in a lot of cases, just to get paid, you need some kind of business license to get paid, or taxation and all that other sort of stuff. Now, going back to the band's, well, I guess the lawsuit that has come up now. So 6 band members have filed a lawsuit against Cradle of Filth and all the other Cradle of Filth adjacent parties. And this was filed in Arizona on September 30, 2025, and has since been amended on November 20th to include Fedorov, Smurder, longtime guitarist Paul Allender, former keyboardist and vocalist Lindsay Matheson, or Lindsay Schoolcraft, former guitarist Richard Shaw, and Sasha Baxter, who appeared in 2 of the band's music videos. The lawsuit, of course, alleges a wide range of misconduct, unauthorised commercial use of the plaintiff's likenesses, unpaid royalties for live performances and recorded works, misuse of Matheson's copyrighted sigils, disparaging statements about Fedorov and Smurda, and unjust enrichment from Baxter's video appearances and from the plaintiff's involvement in meet and greets. Now, as it came out from Zoe and Ashok's, experience of leaving Cradle of Filth, Zoe, of course, released sort of sections of their contract, and it had really bad conditions around things like you must be available at all times to go to meet and greets. You'll get paid, I think it was in the neighbourhood of like £150 or something like that, or 150 US. I can't quite remember the exact currency, but there was that too. Also had that you'd be available in your likeness. You're signing over your likenesses to be used on like merch and in videos and things like that, which, while some people on one side might be thinking, hey, it's not the worst pay, I've certainly been paid less, it's really not that good if you're signing your likeness away and if you're performing in front of thousands of people every night away from family, friends, all those sorts of things. In any other sort of job, you'd get paid an additional or a percentage on top to make up for days away. And so some might also argue that it's just part of the touring life. So that came out, and then these other 6 parties have now filed a lawsuit. So it's making me think that there may have been a situation where those people concerned may have been waiting for things to come out for it to become public record in order for them to act on it. I'm not too sure in that regard. The plaintiffs are seeking broad remedies, such as halting and destroying merchandise bearing their likenesses, holding the band liable for conversion of missing or damaged equipment, awarding compensation and punitive damages for financial losses and emotional distress, and covering all legal fees, which in a lot of cases that's what most lawsuits tend to seek, is to cover the legal fees. And the interesting thing as well is they've also requested this jury to be by trial, like a jury trial. So the defendants, namely Dani Filth, his management, Cradle of Filth, the entity, haven't addressed this lawsuit or responded, which is quite interesting. I think the reason that all of those parties are requesting for this to be a jury trial is because they want everything to be out in the open and on public record so that more musicians aren't exploited at the hands of Dani Filth and co. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see where this goes. I really hope that there is some kind of remedy for this, but there's obviously lots of emotion that's being inserted into this lawsuit, which I feel is going to get a lot more messy as the months go by before it goes any better. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. See you guys later.